Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Mercury conjunct the South Node in the natal chart. Now, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the aspects in the natal chart. They were a little bit concise, and some people may have referred to them as snappy. So what I decided to do was make another series on in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up, well, if you have Mercury conjunct the South Node in the natal chart, there may be a lot of intense communication connected with the past. Communication being Mercury, the past being the South Node. Let's say if the South Node is in Aquarius as an example, the past may be tied in with a lot of group, humanitarian efforts, selfless acts, altruism. It may have been where you may have been doing something Aquarius related field, whether it was astrology, astronomy, something connected with computers, electronics, innovation, meteorology, aviation. The past, being more about doing, things, collectively, things that might help, many as opposed to oneself, such as like, again, humanitarian or even environmental work. Now, also too, the mind, which is Mercury, may often be on, going away, which is the South Node, from the negative energy connected with the South Node position. Now, say if the South Node is in Virgo as an example, negative energy, may be tied in with being overly cynical, negative, critical, judgmental. If you believe that the South Node is connected with past lives, some people do, others I understand don't. But it could be, being overly, might have been having hypochondriac tendencies in a past life can lead to being very cynical, judgmental, and critical this time around, or vice versa. It could be where, being overly critical or judgmental in a prior time may lead to, some kind of hypochondriac tendencies. And I don't know if that word even applies anymore, but you understand what I'm saying, germophobia, things of that nature. Now, another thing too is that another way that Mercury conjunct the South Node can manifest in a natal chart is that if there's any, say any issues connected with the hands, the arms, nerves, lungs, or breathing, which is Mercury, it may be more to the detriment than most, more to your detriment. It can be, South Node is what we're going away from. It can be like a little bit less of something. So, it could be in some cases that, the hands, the arms, nerves, lungs, or breathing, there may be it may be diminished the use of it in some cases, like, nerves can be due to nerve damage, of course, or say for example, the hands, there might be some kind of limitation, or, the issues with the full, functioning, of them, as some examples. If Mercury is in Aquarius as an example, those issues can be more, sporadic, erratic, intermittent. It can reinforce and reaffirm, some possible issues connected with the nerves in that example. Now, another thing about Mercury conjunct the South Node in a natal chart, it could manifest in short journeys, which is Mercury may be emphasized, to those, so it could be places that were prominent in your past, which is the South Node. It might be visiting people that played an integral role, in your past. Let's say if the South Node is in Capricorn as an example, those people prominent in one's past, could be Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply embody the characteristics of the sign. It could be those it could be older, that are mature, serious, structured, disciplined, responsible, ambitious, as some examples, even authoritative. And the thing about this too, this aspect in the natal chart, you may often, think, which is Mercury, about, the overdeveloped and redundant qualities connected with the South Node position, going to, Aquarius again as an example. The South Node is in Aquarius. It could be, overly, rebellious, idiosyncratic behavior, just being unique for the sake of being different, for no other reason. The South Node in Virgo, can be, analyzing things to a point where they don't need to be analyzed. It's like over analysis. It's like seeing the Dwad within the Dwad in, in astrology. It just, gets to a point where it doesn't, certain things, don't really need to be broken down anymore. It's like over dissection. South Node in Aries could be battling, fighting, being outspoken just for the sake of it, when in times when it doesn't even need to be expressed. Now, another thing too about this aspect in the natal chart, may also be expressed in communication, writing, manual dexterity, which is Mercury. Maybe something that you're just simply, naturally proficient in, which is the South Node, and it may be very emphasized in that first half of your life. So the thing about this too, let's say that Mercury, is in Libra as an example. There may be writings, that you're proficient in, that's connected, with art or the law, relationships, human resources. It could be writing, about, just intellectual sociability. It could be, mediation, about negotiation, arbitration, as some examples. And another thing too is that Mercury conjunct the South Node may also be expressed in often, frequently analyzing, which is Mercury, the natural built-in abilities connected with the South Node placement. Now, if you have the South Node in Scorpio as an example, those natural built-in abilities may be tied in, with researching things deeply and investigation. It could be, understanding, psychology very well, psychological reasons why people do things as an example. It could be matters of support, being able to get and give support, transformation, deal with crisis, ability. It could be doing something Scorpio related, whether it could be locksmithing, something with embalming, coroner's work, working as a surgeon, investigation, as some examples. Now, another thing too is that siblings, cousins, and neighbors, which is Mercury, may play, an integral role in what was emphasized in that first half of one's life, which is the South Node. Now, let's say if the South Node is in Leo as an example, what may have been emphasized in that first half of one's life may have been something connected, with acting or entertainment, doing things that garnered attention, that gained some kind of notoriety and recognition. It could even been, doing something Leo related, maybe something with creativity, working with children, the military, sports, even product demonstration. Leo energy likes to boast up things, basically. And also the early education, which is Mercury, may have been a time where there may have been a lot of expression of those negative qualities associated with the South Node position. If the South Node is in Sagittarius as an example, those negative qualities might have been recklessness, foolhardiness, being overly blunt, tactless to the point of demoralizing, others, as some examples, being, voracious to the point where it could actually hurt, you know, somebody, and you know, to the point where, you know, the bluntness can be very, you know, harsh to say, you know, the absolute least. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Lerner saying, stay well.